My name is John. It's my good buddy Andy, and you're listening to the Packers Blitz podcast by two diehard Packer fans at the dark times of the 1980s. Lived to talk about it. It's dedicated to the world's greatest fans, Packer fans. And take it away, buddy.
Yeah, John, Packer fans, NFL fans, welcome to Packers Blitz, the Packers podcast dedicated to intelligent, truthful, and real Packers football talk. John, what do you think about this quote? I've got a quote for you. This is not me saying it, so I'm just going to say it verbatim.
All right.
And then I'll have you tell me who it was that said it. So here it goes. I tell people this all the time. I say, we got 10 games left and we're going to win out. So that's how I feel. I know a few other people might feel the same way, but I'm going to be the first to say it. We're going to win out. So, John, who was that said that to some reporters?
That's my boy, Jair Alexander said that.
Correct, John.
Yeah.
So John, we're going to get into yesterday's Packers 20-3 victory in a second. However,
we won.
Right. However, John, quotes like these from Packers veterans like Jair Alexander don't make this a Packers victory at all. Let me just reiterate the statement that I have said many times before. Jair Alexander is no Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has a Hall of Fame pedigree. Aaron Rodgers makes intelligent promises. Then Aaron Rodgers had the football acumen and the respect of his football teammates that he could back them up. Jair needs to shut the heck up. It's one game, one victory, right? The Packers got lucky. They got lucky. I'll get into that a little bit later. I said as much in Packers Blitz episode 47, the last one. I'll explain what I mean about that lucky a little later in the podcast. Lucky, John. That was a lucky win. So, John, anything to say about anything before we move on?
No, other than that was pretty bad football. I shut it off for a little while after they missed the field goal at halftime. I went, "That's it. I'm done." And I went did some yard work. And I had the phone with me. And I looked down. I'm like, it was like 13-3 or something like that. And I went, and then my buddy and texted me, "Musgrave. Oh, man, did he fall?" That was my first thought, Andy. And, damn it, he fumbled. No. And then I went in and I looked and he scored.
His first NFL touchdown. Yep. We'll talk about that later too.
So one of the things, do you want me to read this? You want to read it?
Go right. Yeah, go right ahead. We were going to talk about this. We've been talking about this, and we never talked about this. So now we're going to talk about it. And you go right ahead because I got all the information up here, and let's go for it.
Thank you. All right. So Packer Blitz fans and Packer fans out there, and Andy and I have been a little bit hard on Jordan Love. Can he throw the deep ball? No. That's going to take time. And in fact, you don't build your career on the deep ball. You just don't. You got to make all the throws in the NFL like Aaron Rodgers could, Brett Favre could. Fuck you, Tom Brady. Dan Marino, on and on and on. All
Jim
those guys
Kelly, not Joe Kelly.
Jim Kelly.
Yeah, Jim Kelly.
We'll get.
I know. I messed up last time,
folks. We're not perfect. We don't have a stat like team helping Andy and I. It's us. Anyway, so let's just do a quarterback transition here of an 8-game comparison between 2022 Aaron Rodgers versus 2023 Jordan Love. Special Wendell Ferreira, name right? Of USA
Wendell
Today.
Ferreira. Yeah, so again, we're talking
There we
about
go.
the transition from Aaron Rodgers of last year
From
to
Aaron
Jordan Love.
Rodgers.
Yes, that quarterback
So-
transition. So go for it, John.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers last year, 66.4%. Jordan Love this year, 59.6. A little bit off, but not way off. Last year, Aaron Rodgers, yards. This year, Jordan Love, 1720. Again, not too far off. Last year, 13 TDs. Jordan Love this year, 12. Aaron Rodgers last year, 4 interceptions. Jordan, okay, so that's a difference. Last year, 94.5 passer rating. This year, 81.9. I'll give him 82. So, here's the thing.
Jordan has eight interceptions so far, and Rodgers had 4.
Right.
So that's a major.
Remember,
Yep.
Yeah, but remember, folks, Blitz fans, is Jordan Love is not Aaron Rodgers. We've been through that a million times, and Aaron Rodgers, he just doesn't take chances. He's not Brett Favre, where I'm just going to chuck it and see what happens. So, yeah, there's a disparity. So let's go into this. Is the one that I'm really interested in. First year rookie comparison: 2008 Aaron Rodgers versus 2023 Jordan Love. After 8 games, a special thanks to Bill Huber of USA Today. So, Aaron Rodgers, now remember, this is Aaron Rodgers' rookie year, 63.7 completion. Jordan Love this year, again, 59.6. So, not too far off again. 1,982 yards. 1720. Aaron Rodgers, 13. Jordan Love, 5 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers, 8 interceptions. Jordan Love, 95.3 passer rating for Aaron Rodgers, 81.9 passer rating for Jordan Love this year. So the rookie years pretty much stack up after just 8 games. Pretty close. Options are not far off. The touchdowns are not far off. The yardage is not far off. The only problem is passer rating. The problem, the accuracy, and that's where we need to do the work and going round and round with that kind. So, really, the hop and kind of summarize this is, what do these comparisons tell us, Packer fans? So, Aaron Rodgers was regressing in 2022. We all know that. He just wasn't CDC, still good, but it was similar to his rookie year to Jordan Love, is not quite as good as Aaron Rodgers. We already know that, folks. I mean, come on. He was in 2008 or 2022, but he's close. This isn't far off, However, again, not nearly accurate, but we can work on that. And more prone to turnovers. And, again, turnovers are a funny thing. It's where the ball bounces. I was watching the Bills Bengals game and last night, and somebody fumbled the ball. The ball was bouncing all around, and I'm like, who has it? It was really hard to tell, and that's just the way that goes. So, just hold on to the ball security. The biggest difference that doesn't have to do with any sort of analytical data is just simply this. There's been plenty of just not a ton of not a ton of in Jordan Love's game. Yes. With Aaron Rodgers, and really, yeah, I agree with that, Andy. I see what you're saying. I see what everyone's saying about. I don't know. We've been so spoiled. bow from Brett Favre with no Rodgers. And now you got this totally different kid out there who's just trying to, his best. And we got to step back from my comment about Ferdinand. I'm like, no, we can't do that. We got the rest of the game, see what he does. We'll talk about him going against Pittsburgh, which will be a good test for him, that he's had a pretty good game. So what's the question now? What?
Yeah, so
right? And
the answer is, we've been talking about it, John. Don't bench Jordan Love. Keep him as their starter, reassess the situation.
Yeah.
So again, you've kind of already answered
right. Right. Yeah, and the reason I stepped back from it personally, the reason I did was because, on last episode I said, I was listening to Mark Tauscher, and he made a total sense. All these people are like, put Sean Clifford in. And he's like, okay, now what do you do with Jordan Love? And everybody's like, well, what do you mean? Well, what do you keep him, or you bring him in for another game? And finally, I don't like Homer. He's on one of those stations, whatever. He's got
Steve the Homer True,
senile.
Yep.
Yeah, he's old and senile, and he's just like not like your dad, man. He like most dads at that age, you just don't get it anymore. And his explanation was, like, you want somebody new? What the heck is that gonna do? That I've heard in my life. Well, I just want somebody new. No. Like, what are you doing? You just can't switch. And anyway, so that's really, as you see, it's not too far off. We gotta have patience. Yes, he can't throw the deep ball. Yes, he's not accurate. Yes, he doesn't have the wow. He's more of an ow. But yeah, I think in the Los Angeles game, he showed little glimpses again. But he's got to show that against Pittsburgh, which we'll talk about. So, Andy, I will turn it now over to you to give us a synopsis of our win over the lowly Rams. So go right ahead.
Before we get to that, there's a couple things. So again, John, I agree with you completely. We need to put the best quarterback we can out there, and that is Jordan Love. It's not Sean Clifford. Okay. So that's why you don't bench him. Now, if he gets hurt, something happens, he's mentally not in the game, whatever, okay, fine. Maybe put Clifford in for the rest of the game or whatever. But you got to go back to Jordan Love again. You need a complete body of work. The only way to get that is to let him play the entire season and see how he progresses throughout the entire season. You need to commit to him and just stick with him and see what happens. That's my opinion. So figured I'd mention that before we moved on. So, excellent. And if you're not in agreement with me, let me know, John, but that's how I feel about it. I think you just gotta.
You were spot on, buddy.
So,
yes.
And so, in one word, I would categorize the victory 20-3 over the lowly Rams. I would say lucky. So I'm going to repeat that word a lot when I talk about this game. So the Packers might as well have been leprechauns. They sure look like them.
Top of the morning to you.
They certainly found their pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So number one, lucky. Starting Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford was out.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Starting Rams running back Kyron Williams was out. Lucky. Starting Rams right tackle Rob Havenstein was out. I think it's Havenstein. Maybe it's Frankenstein. I don't know. But he was out anyway. Both of them were out. Lucky. Starting Rams inside linebacker Ernest Jones was out. At first, he was questionable. He was supposed to play. He's on my fantasy team. I wanted to play because he's great.
Oh, here we go.
But I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter about it. We're lucky. Ernest Jones is a 3-year-old who is by far their best tackler and is a crucial cog in the Rams defensive machine. I believe he makes the play calls. So, John, sorry to cut you off. Do you have any comment about that? Oh, you just have a comment about fantasy football, don't you?
Yeah, about your fantasy.
Yeah.
A little bitter, my friend.
So fifth and last thing.
A little bitter.
Lucky. In the second half, the Rams' top corner, Colby Durant, was knocked out of the game with a shoulder injury. By the way, that's about the time that our passing game all of a sudden got better. So we got lucky, 5 times lucky. And I could have probably went on and did more than that, but I stopped at 5. Give the Packers some credit. They took advantage of facing Brett Rippon at quarterback. By the way, he is the nephew of former Pro Bowl quarterback Mark Rippon. They took advantage, the Green Bay Packers took advantage of devastating Rams injuries and a Rams offense that is more atrocious than ours, which is actually saying quite a lot, doesn't it, John?
Andy.
Yep.
Andy, I got a quick question for you. How many Super Bowls does Mark Rippon have? 1.
How many does he have? Well, I know he has one for sure because he won one with the Redskins. That's probably the one I remember. I know he played for several teams, a lot of teams, so it might be more than that.
So Mark Rippon has as many Super Bowls as Aaron Rodgers. Isn't that
right? Yeah.
But that's
yeah, and he won that with the Hogs with the he had that really great offensive line in Washington. Yeah,
Washington.
Oh,
okay.
Buffalo,
one of their 4 Super Bowls. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, he has won a Super Bowl. Correct. Oh, that's very, very interesting, John. So we're going to talk about some game balls, some
Packers Blitz game balls.
So game ball. A game ball goes to the Packers offense. They scored a touchdown in the first half. Their first since week 2 against Atlanta, which would be September 17th, 2023, by the way. September 17th. What is it today, John?
We're in November.
November
6th.
Something like that. Game ball goes to Aaron Jones. That TD that they had in the first half was his, a 3-yard TD run. John, I would like to make him the Packers Blitz Offensive Player of the Game. If you have somebody else, you can chime in a second. But Aaron Jones had 20 carries, 73 rushing yards, 4 catches for 24 yards. So he had 24 touches, which is a lot more than he's been having lately. So Aaron Jones finally had a full workload and made it through the game. He made it through in one piece. He's finally cut loose. Ironically, Bruce Springsteen's song "Born to Run" played on Jones's cell phone in the locker room as he was talking to reporters.
That's hilarious.
So I figured I'd bring that up because I thought that was kind of funny. John, do you have any comments on the Packers Blitz Offensive Player of the Game? I picked Aaron Jones. I thought it was pretty clear cut. If you got somebody else, let me know. It could have been Aaron Jones. Definitely Aaron Jones, but maybe, maybe even Jordan Love.
Great for his first touchdown. Jordan Love. Okay. The reason it's a good pick, if you look carries, it was like 7, 8, 6, 3. I mean, it was insane. He was single digit. And now that, he still is a marquee player, in my opinion, that he can make a difference. Not as good 2-3 years ago, but he still finds a way to get down first downs. So, totally cool. What's your next one?
Yep, got to keep feeding them. Got to keep feeding them and getting them the ball, and he's got to play for that to happen, right? Some more game balls go to the Packers O-line and running backs. We've been The offensive line has been much maligned, John, as you know, and same with the running backs. So I figured I'd call them up. They had their best game of the season, John. They had the best season on the ground, game of the season on the ground, amassing 184 yards on 38 carries, which is 4.8 yards per rush, which isn't too bad, not too shabby.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Quoting Adam Sandler again, not too shabby. Another game ball goes to, of course, Jordan Love. Have to mention him. Matt LaFleur finally took the training wheels off of Jordan, and he was finally turned loose, as Matt LaFleur liked to say, turned loose. LaFleur let Jordan look for bigger plays in the second half, completing 11 of 12 passes. Jordan finished 20 for 26 for 228 yards and a touchdown. That fourth quarter touchdown pass was thrown down the middle for 20 yards to rookie tight end, John.
Luke Musgrave.
For the first of his career, sealing the victory with less than 4 minutes left in the game. Love was 6 of 8, John, 75% passing on throws of 10 yards or more in the air. He had entered the week a league worst 36% on such throws. So, John, did you see any Jordan Love improvement in that game from what you watched, I guess?
Yeah, I did a little bit. He was throwing with more confidence to the outside, into the inside routes. Deep balls, god awful. Stop throwing the deep ball. But he seemed a little more confident, and he was looking at his check. His footwork wasn't, but he's got to learn about two backs that I'm just like, man.
Yeah,
like,
way too much time sitting there in the pocket.
Way
make a decision, get rid of the ball, whatever. Yep, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So some nice little improvements, hopefully to grow in those areas.
Another game ball goes to the Packers defense. They only gave up 3 points. They held the Rams to only 187 total yards on offense. In fact, the secondary held Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua to a combined 5 receptions for 80 yards. So 2 game balls also go to our 7th round rookie defensive backs. One being cornerback Carrington Valentine had 3 pass breakups and was sticky in coverage. He looked like the successor to traded veteran cornerback Rasul Douglas, who Valentine replaced, making plays in both pass and run defense. So he looked a lot like Rasul. Pretty darn good. The second 7th round rookie defensive back that I'd like to mention was safety Anthony Johnson Jr. He dislodged the ball from Rams tight end Tyler Higbee with a violent hit, and later made his first INT on a tip ball by Jair Alexander on a pass intended for Cooper Kupp. I thought Carrington Valentine was the Packers Blitz defensive player of the game. He played admirably despite being thrust into the starting lineup again after Rasul Douglas was traded to the Buffalo Bills. John, any comment on our Packers Blitz defensive player of the game? You got a different one? Any comments about the Rasul trade?
I'm always going to say Carl Brooks.
Yeah, played really well again. Colby Wooden did too. My guy.
Yes, especially when Kenny Clark went out. Kenny Clark went out in, I think, the second quarter.
Shoulder injury.
Sure.
Yep, shoulder. Got carted off.
And then you had Brooks, Colby Wooden, TJ Slayton, and the other guy from Georgia. And I always forget his name.
Wyatt.
Oh, I forget his name.
Wyatt.
Thank you. And we had he was out, and we had
That's
no
right.
Rudy.
McDuffie was in. Yep.
So this was a nice but they still have Cooper Kupp, and they still have a leading offensive rookie in. So I mean, back this is what happens, right?
Yeah, Cooper Kupp
So,
is no slouch either, as everybody knows.
No, he's not. He's not.
Nope.
But if you don't have a quarterback, welcome to our world. This is
and he was
happens.
actually, John, he was
So
open on the play. Jair, made a good play, jumped up in the air, but Cooper Kupp was open and passed him. He just made a very athletic play and was able to tip it. If the quarterback actually kind of lobs it in there a little bit more and throws like less of a direct line, that ball would have been caught for a big gain. Yeah. So I don't want to say Jair was burned because he did tip the ball, but I think
he made up for it.
Correct. He did. So I'll give him that. But Stafford probably makes that throw. He fits it in there, but I'm just saying. So
the thing is, Blitz fans, Packer fans, Anthony Johnson has not played safety that long. He started as a cornerback at Iowa State, and he was doing really well. I mean, he was like in the top, probably 3rd round pick. And then someone got hurt on Iowa State, and they said, "Hey, can you play safety?" And he was like, "Sure, I'll give it a try." So he has not been playing it that long. His natural position is corner. So I'm like, that's interesting to me that, he's what, a 6th round pick, and Valentine was a 7th round pick, or maybe I'm reversing them.
They were both 7th They were both 7th rounders. So I lumped them together in our Packers Blitz game balls.
So interesting. Yeah. So I think Valentine. Go ahead.
So Packers Blitz fans, John, football players are some of the most competitive on earth. Even though Valentine and Johnson were both 7-rounders, they are both playing with chips on their shoulders and making the Packers D look elite. To be brutally honest, the Packers need more players like those two. More players like Aaron Rodgers with Hall of Fame talent and chips on their shoulders. So I figured I'd add that in too, because I really like how they were playing. I like Valentine quite a bit. And if the other guy, Johnson, keeps making plays, stick him in there. Why not? We need more players that can create turnovers and make plays, right? So another game ball. There's so many of them because we won. I'm giving a game ball to Jonathan Owens. He was starting his 2nd straight game injuries to Darnell Savage and Rudy Ford. I think Rudy's got a calf or something. I think both of them do. I don't know what's up with that. He came up with a big strip sack of Brett Rypien. The Packers would then cash in on that ensuing drive with that 3-yard scamper for a touchdown from Aaron Jones. So again, Jonathan Owens made the play that created the turnover, which created again that ensuing drive and touchdown by Aaron Jones. Last game ball, Matt LaFleur gets one on 4th and 1 inside of the opponent. Yes. On 4th and 1 inside of the opponent's 20-yard line, he decided to take a conservative approach and take the field goal, kick the field goal to put the Packers up 13-3. Instead of going for the dagger, like the Packers play-by-play guy Wayne Levy likes to say, Matt LaFleur's conservative decision was correct. Take the points. You're playing against Rypien and an anemic offense. Take the points and get up by over 2 scores. John, where was this? Where was this guy when he blew it in the game against the Atlanta Falcons? Okay, we're bringing it up again. Hopefully, Matt LaFleur is finally learning and growing too. John, any comments about any of those game balls or anything that I might have said?
No, straight
or not said?
done. Now we just hope that this continues. That's all I have to say on that.
Right.
Right.
Now, John, we're
So next-
Packers Blitz fans. We're going to talk about lame balls. Lame ball.
Lame ball. Packers
That's
Blitz.
right.
Blitz.
Yes. Lame ball. Dontavian Wicks. Dontavian Wicks. According to Jacob Westendorf.
What happened to him?
According to Jacob Westendorf of SI.com, and this is a quote from him. Keyshawn Nixon's 51-yard return to start the second half appeared to put the Packers in business to extend their 7-3 lead at halftime. Instead, a casual pass to Wicks turned into the biggest error of the day. Wicks caught the ball and reached for extra yardage that he didn't need. He had already secured the first down. That reach for an extra yard turned into disaster. Wicks fumbled. A drive that had promise was over. The Packers make enough mistakes. That one seemed easily preventable. End quote. So I figured I'd bring that one up. John, Packers Blitz fans, we won't be able to do that against good football teams like the 5-3 Pittsburgh Steelers, who we play next week. John, any comment on that? Any comment on the lame ball? That was Dontavian Wicks'
I
fumble.
totally. I don't know what he was thinking, but the next one is worse. So the next one is definitely lame.
Lame balls. You love this, don't you? We'll have to do this every week. Lame balls.
Yeah, we did some
lame balls. Weird. I just had weird. It was just weird offensive penalties. The Packers converted. Weird?
I don't know if it was weird.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the right word.
I think it was.
You got a better word? Lame? Stupid?
No!
Okay. Lame balls. The Packers converted two separate 4th and 1s in the first half, only to be negated by offsides penalties on the offense. That's correct. Offsides on the offense. How does that even happen, John? One was called on Yosh Nijman, which was questionable. They were saying that one was kind of questionable. The other was called on John Runyon. Both killed drives, killed them. The Packers would have scored a lot more in the first half if not for the common theme this season of penalties. 7 of them in the first half, by the way. 7. By the way, the Packers did clean that up in the second half with only 2. So I think they had 9 for the game. So good job in the second half. But the first half, so to give Nijman and Runyon some leeway here and less of the blame, the NFL, let's blame them. The NFL is cracking down on offensive offsides because of the Philly tush push. And I think they call it something else too.
Come on.
The something of brotherly love. I don't know what it is, but I like to call it the tush push. In the NFL, this is what happens. They're supposed to happen. The head of the offensive linemen, all of them, with the exception of the center, cannot be crossing the football in the neutral zone. So they can't be past the football or to it. So Runyon said that he had always done this in short yardage situations, and he hadn't been told about that rule until this week. So, John, any comment on the weird? I mean, the stupid offensive penalties, the lame balls that happened a few times.
Well, first of all, Runyon, you know who his father is, right?
Yes, John Runyon Sr., right?
And here's in Philadelphia. He was a very good
player.
Yeah, great player. And he's head of rules committee or one of the on the board of the rules committee.
Wow.
Hey, call dad. Hey, dad. Yeah, son. What's with this rule? Oh, yeah. So don't do that. So, come on, Runyon. Give me a break. Your dad probably put it in there because he's probably thinking, and this whole tush push thing to stop it. Because first of all, every time they're offsides. They're off. I was watching a little bit of Philadelphia Dallas yesterday afternoon, and I was like, they're totally offsides, and and then the refs are like, whatever. Like the refs, they just move the marker.
We get called on it, right?
We get called on it twice.
Yeah. Well, it's also gonna injure one of our star quarterbacks. That happened to Patrick Mahomes a few years ago. I think he dislocated his kneecap or something, and he was injured. I think that's why when we played KC, and I think Jordan Love was our quarterback, and maybe he wasn't, but I thought he was. Anyway, Mahomes didn't play in that game.
Correct.
And he didn't play in that game because he was injured because he tried to sneak it. I think he was trying to get in the end zone. I was watching that game, and he was injured because of it. And that pretty much was the last time they tried that stuff, especially with their star quarterback. So all I'm saying is Jalen Hurts, one of these days is going to get hurt.
He's hurt
right now. He has a knee issue.
He is hurt right now.
And he's on my fantasy football team.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. So again, lame ball, Christian Watson, elite talent, fast, playmaker. However, lame ball. He just cannot stay healthy. For example, on his 37-yard reception in the fourth quarter, Watson suffered a chest injury and a back injury and a possible concussion. Yep. All the 3 injuries on one play. Watson didn't even speak to reporters post-game because NFL players who are still in concussion protocol aren't allowed to. How convenient, John. I'm running out of patience with Christian Watson. It sounds like you are too, John. I know you already commented on this. Hopefully some of that great audio and material that you gave us before you'll be able to pull from when we
we'll fix it.
Put episode 48 out to the public. So John, do you want to take the next one? The whole Packers wide receivers group, lame balls. This is a really good one, John. So you might want to read this verbatim, but you definitely don't have to if you don't want to.
All right.
I'm going to go for it.
This is pretty funny that you gave the so balls to the entire Packers wide receiver group. The best NFL receivers don't just get open and catch the ball. They make highlight reel plays, diving grab, down, toe tapping, sideline plays, leaping catches in the end zone. Have the best, but they don't have the worst. Pro football focus. Jordan Love has given his pass catchers 47 opportunities in contested catch situations. They've caught 10. They've contested catch rate of, yes, that's right, 10 out of 47. Contested catch rate is 21.3%, by far the worst in the NFL. Other less than 30% are the Tennessee Titans, 28.6. Kansas City Chiefs, 9.7. Every other team is at least 10% better than that. Detroit Lions are number 1. Wow. At 59% in contested catches. Christian Watson is 0 for 8 foul in 2023. In 2022 was 9 for 12. 75% was tied for the best in the NFL. In fact, the Packers not only have the worst receiver for a contested catch rate, but also the second worst rookie, Jaden Reed, who is 0 for 7. Congratulations, Ryan Gutekunst.
Yeah, can you? I can hear the sarcasm in your voice, John.
Yeah,
Thanks,
sarcasm.
Brian. Right.
Thanks, Brian. Right.
Yep. So yeah, we are not good with
That's
catch
terrible.
rate. We are not good, and we're the worst. We're not. No one's really even close to us. So that's not good. The best wide receivers, John, like you said, they make diving grabs on third and fourth down. They make a play, toe tapping sideline plays, and leaping catches in the end zone. They do highlight reel stuff. And again, this season, John, when I look back after 8 games, I don't see a whole lot of that in my memory. I see that lucky catch that Jaden Reed made in the end zone after it deflected off of Dobbs.
Right.
Dobbs has made some contested catches. He wasn't the problem. I think he was like 38%, catch rate. So Dobbs isn't doing that bad. And there's been a few touchdown catches that he's made some really tough catches in coverage. So I'm not talking about Romeo Dobbs, but we are talking about the other two. And Watson was really good last year. He was really good last year.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
But this year, it's the exact opposite, almost like he's scared to go up and make a contested catch, right? And what might happen to him. So, and it happened again in the last game, didn't it, John? So, anything else you wanted to add on that, John?
No.
Any more lame balls?
No, I think lame balls for Packers Blitz. So let's get on to Packers. Take it away.
So that's going to be Sunday, November 12th at noon on CBS. Pittsburgh, John. Pittsburgh is favored by 3.5. That's the first time any opposing team has been. Yeah, thank goodness. The over-under is 37.5. That is low, really low. I think that's lower than the last game against the Rams. So a little look ahead. Yeah, it's lower. I think it was 39.5 the last game. So 37.5 is the over-under on the game for points. So a little look ahead to the game. The Packers have not won there, Pittsburgh, since, John, 1970. 1970, John. I would have been 2 years old. I would have been 2 years old, John. 1970. Yes. Yeah, 53 years ago. They haven't won since 1970. The Steelers are 5-3 after a 2016 win over the Tennessee Titans and will benefit from extra rest since they played on Thursday. The Packers are 3-5 and snapped a 4-game losing streak. They won't benefit from playing a backup quarterback again this week. Then they'll face a trio of quarterbacks that are arguably top 10 in the NFL. Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, and reigning league MVP and current Super Bowl champion, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, boy.
Ugh. Packers fans, be happy with the win last week. A win is a win. However, do not for a second fool yourselves into believing that this young team is ready for prime time anytime soon. No. Sorry to be a downer, but that's the truth. And that's what we speak in truth here, John, right? Even though we don't want to. We want to lie, but we're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
So the Steelers,
not gonna do it.
The Steelers are probably going to do it. We'll get into that in a minute. Starting quarterback Kenny Pickett is a lot like Jordan Love. Inaccurate, inconsistent, and underwhelming. However, he does find a way to make plays at the end of games and he leads his team to victory, to wins. That is why the Steelers are 5-3 and the Packers are 3-5. The running back tandem of Najee Harris and Jalen Warren are legit. The wide receiver tandem of George Pickens. George Pickens takes the top off of defenses and makes contested catches, by the way, John. And Deontay Johnson, the other one, possession receiver, great route runner with great hands. Both are legit. However, the Steelers defense is 30th in points scored at 16.6 points per game. 31st in yards per game at 296.3, which equates to 28th in passing yards at 205.8, 25th in rushing yards at 90.5. So 296.3 yards per game, which is 31st, pretty much almost dead last. In fact, the Steelers' offense is ranked even lower than the Packers' offense, statistically speaking. However, the Steelers have played much better defenses, by the way. Baltimore Ravens, Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars do not have that bad of a defense. I know John's probably like, what? They are the top defense as far as takeaways. Okay. They are. Really? And so they aren't as stout as Baltimore. I'm not saying that, but they are a really good defense. The Tennessee Titans, they played. Cleveland Browns and the San Francisco 49ers. So they played much better defenses. And now they're going to play the Packers. So we'll see what happens, won't we? Outside linebacker, TJ Watt. What to say about him, John? We wanted to go into the draft a few years ago. TJ Watt, 9.5 sacks so far, 6 passes defensed, 1 interception, 2 forced fumbles, is a perennial NFL Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Outside linebacker on the other side, Alex Highsmith is on the other side of Watt. Again, 4.5 sacks, 1 pass defensed, 1 interception, and 2 forced fumbles. Then we've got defensive tackle Cameron Hayward. He's back from injury. He played last game and he's back. He had 10 sacks or more the last 2 seasons. So he's back. The Steelers D is ranked 7th in the league in sacks with 26. It's ranked 8th in interceptions. So I picked out a few of those things because that's going to give me some points that go toward my my eventual pick. Okay. So John, you want to read off the Packers stuff?
Yes, I would do the Packers stuff. Give you a little break here. Okay. So Packers have played a tough schedule. They continue to make too many mistakes. As a young and experienced team, and like it, are about to find out they cannot be good teams either. Wow, they just beat a team in LA Rams that have a backup. Ranked by CBS Sports is 29th ranked backup in the NFL. The 29th ranked backup. He is a turnover machine, as we found out. He gave up 2 turnovers, 2 gifts to us. And also, one of the things, again, we want to thank you, Rams, for helping us with that. And thank you, Brett Rippin. I predicted it.
I did. No, you didn't.
And he predicted it. I said the Packers cannot beat the Rams. They cannot beat anybody. Well, we both said that. Luckily, 3. So it's something that is you're going into Pittsburgh. You have in forever, and you're playing that 5-3 record. To me, is deceiving. In my personal opinion, should be because they've had some. You're just like, huh? What?
Yep.
game. One of them,
Especially the one against the Ravens. They should have lost that game against the Ravens.
Should have lost that game. Definitely should have lost. So, predictions.
Yep. Thanks, John. So, my prediction is the Steelers 24 and the Packers 9. Betting fans.
Okay.
Yes. Betting fans, take the over on the score and the under on the points. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this will be the start of a 4-game losing streak for the Packers. Steelers, loss. Chargers, loss. Lions, loss. Chiefs, loss. The Packers will be then 3-9. At that point, John and I will discuss whether or not we get rid of quarterback Jordan Love, head coach Matt LaFleur, and GM Brian Gutekunst. Let me tell you all now, just like in the Tim Burton movie Sleepy Hollow that I just watched last week, heads will roll. Either John or I, maybe both of us, will become headless horsemen and ride to Lambeau on demon steeds and proverbially give the axe to all three.
Yeah.
John, Packers fans, that would be much like what happens to turkeys just before Thanksgiving or a Christmas feast. John, any comment on that? How'd you like that one? So I told you guys this is what's going to happen. As of now, this is what I think is going to happen. So did you like that? Just like Tim Burton and the movie Sleepy Hollow. Johnny Depp was great in that, by the way.
Yeah,
so, great cast.
Yeah, he was. It's a very underrated movie. If you have not seen Sleepy Hollow, please go see it. Even though Halloween is over, it's still worth watching. So
Christopher Walken's in there too. As the Headless Horseman. It doesn't say a word.
My prediction.
Go for it, John.
To be what I thought was going to be the Denver Packer game. Really ugly, really just terrible. And I'm going with Steelers 17, Packers 7. So kind of we both are single digits. Just because I do not see them mount. Take the under if you're a betting man out there. And the other thing too is one thing I was thinking about the other day. When did we get rid of all three people in the Packers organization? The GM, head coach, and quarterback. So you have to go up to the early 90s where we cleaned house, and then we brought Mike Holmgren and Brett Favre. So maybe a little optimism. It's quite different. We're not going to get a Ron Wolf this time. We're not going to get a Mike Holmgren this time. But who knows? Maybe we'll get some guys who can come in there and be aggressive, like John Schneider from Seattle, and say, "Oh, we need these pieces. Let's get them. Let's bring them in." Also, maybe have a general manager who's willing to take a little more chances and really study the film, and just like Ron Wolf used to do, and say, these guys are perfect for our team because they fit our offense, they fit our defense, and also they're versatile, so we can use them in different ways. Because people forget, like Antonio Freeman, for example. When we brought him in as a receiver, he was also a kick returner. And then we realized, don't give Antonio Freeman the ball because he likes to fumble. So let's just put him as a receiver and let him just, let him do that. And when Antonio Freeman was good, he was good. And when he was bad, he was bad. But the point is, he built that receiver room to have, different guys that could really help us win, like Robert Brooks, Antonio Freeman, Mark Chimura, on and on and on and on. Then we got Don Beebe, we just, okay. And then we got Andre Rison. And Goody's not that kind of guy. He's not the kind of guy like Ron Wolfe says, well, we need another receiver. Oh, Andre Rison's out there. Great. And, look what Andre Gutekunst is not that kind of guy. And granted, Ron Wolfe didn't have to deal with the salary cap as much as he does, but still, he had to deal with it. So anyway, just kind of my Packer little rant, a little information. So take it away so we can one episode up.
Under an hour. We're gonna do it.
There we go.
The Packers beat up on the LA Rams 20-3. I predicted a score of Packers 20, Rams 16 with Matthew Stafford playing. John, Packers fanatics, savor that victory. Like the prophetic Nostradamus, I think that it may take at least another 5 to 6 weeks until we taste the sweetness of winning again. Hopefully, my sons, Zach and Nolan, will see that victory happen sooner than later in 2 weeks at the holiest of holies, as John likes to call it, and the friendly confines of Lambeau Field against another LA team, the Chargers. Meanwhile, the Packers are on to Pittsburgh. Good luck with that. We won't be as lucky, I'm afraid, and correct. Maybe I'll be correct like it was on the last podcast when I called Bill's great Jim Kelly, Joe Kelly. Sorry, Jim. And to my Aunt Laura and Uncle Phil, diehard Bills fans, and to Bills Nation, I apologize. John, I apologize to you that I talk too much. I just love talking Packers and football with you. I love you, John. John?
Oh, thank you, buddy. Hey, never apologize for that. All right, Packer Blitz. We might have a little bit of a low. Remember, we're really going to have to focus. And NFL has been really strange this year. And if you don't believe me, Packer fans, Minnesota won their game against Atlanta. That was bizarre. Okay? And teams are not. There's nobody out there that I look at anymore than going, oh, no way, you're not going to beat those guys. Even Kansas City looks beatable. The Bills look beatable. Sorry, Aunt Laura, Uncle Phil. So it's a crazy. Maybe we'll get a couple of victories out of the mess that we're going into. No, that we're not growing, then people need to go. So look, Blitz fans, Packer fans, again, follow us and give us 5 stars. Hit subscribe on your favorite Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Packers Blitz. And also just remember, too, those Andy and I screw up. Jim Kelly, Joe Kelly. Someday I look forward to where Andy and I have a big studio and we have a bunch of people fussing and we can make mistakes and say, no, Andy, it's not. It's Jim Kelly. But
2 words. Yeah.
We do our best.
2 words, John. Manny Petty.
Andy, I love you, buddy.
Out of Manny Petties.
Manny Petty.
Massages.
Anyway, we love you. Anyway, we just end. Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.
Love you, buddy.